Okay, let's be honest. Have you ever set a huge goal? I'm going to exercise every day, or I'm going to read every single night, only to watch all that motivation just fizzle out by February? Yeah, we've all been there. It's so frustrating. But what if the problem isn't you? What if it's not about a lack of willpower, but just a tiny flaw in your method?
This quote from James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, just hits you, right? It gets right to the core of it. We all have goals, of course, but goals are just the destination on the map. It's the small, daily systems we build, the path we walk every day, that actually determines if we ever get there. It's not about one massive, heroic effort. It's about those tiny, almost invisible actions that carry you forward, day in and day out.
So, how in the world do we build these systems that actually work? Well, it all kicks off with an idea that sounds almost too simple, focusing on the surprising and seriously powerful impact of tiny little gains.
I want you to just imagine improving by 1%. That's it. Just 1% each day. It's so small you'd probably never even notice it. Doing one single push-up, reading one page, meditating for 60 seconds. It feels like nothing, right? On day 1 or day 2, you don't really see a difference. And this is exactly why most of us give up.
But, and this is a big but, here's what happens when you let that tiny 1% compound over a full year. The math here it's just astounding. Getting just 1% better each day for a year doesn't make you 365% better. It makes you nearly 37 times better. That is the incredible power of Atomic Habits. These tiny routines that build up into truly remarkable, life-changing results.
And this right here perfectly illustrates that huge mindset shift. Look, goals are great for setting a direction, winning a championship or writing a book, but it's the systems that actually make progress happen. If you're a coach, sure, your goal is to win it all, but your system is how your team shows up in practices every single day. James Clear's whole argument is that we need to fall in love with the process, not just obsess over the prize.
And that brings us to what might be the most powerful idea in this entire book: building identity-based habits. Instead of focusing on what you want to achieve, you focus on who you want to become. Think about it. Every single time you lace up your shoes and go for a run, even if it's just around the block, you're casting a vote for your new identity as a runner. These little wins become evidence that you are that person, and that's what makes the habit stick for good.
Okay, so we get it. We need these identity-building systems. But how do we actually, build them? Well, luckily, Clear gives us a super simple, incredibly practical framework to do exactly that. He calls it the 4 laws of behavior change.
Here they are, the 4 laws. And what's brilliant is they map directly onto the natural loop our brain follows for literally any habit. See, our brain is a reward-seeking machine. A cue in our environment triggers a craving, which motivates a response, and that response delivers a reward. So to build a good habit, all we have to do is engineer each step of that loop. We just have to make the cue obvious, the craving attractive, the action easy, and the reward satisfying. Simple as that.
Now let's zoom in on one of the most powerful and frankly game-changing techniques from the book that puts this whole framework into practice. It's called habit stacking.
This is the formula, and its genius is in its simplicity. You don't have to find new motivation out of thin air or magically create more time in your day. You just anchor a new habit you want to build onto a strong, existing habit that's already hardwired into your brain.
Just look at these examples. Pouring coffee, taking off your shoes, sitting down for dinner. These are things you probably already do without even thinking about it. By linking a new, tiny action to them, you make the cue to perform your new habit unbelievably obvious and just easy.
Okay, the theory is fantastic, right? But how do we put it into practice, like today? Let's bridge that gap by taking a look at a few tools out there that are actually designed to help you do this.
First one up is an app called More Momentum. Now, what's so cool about this tool is that it was literally built from the ground up around the science of habit formation and, you guessed it, habit stacking.
So the key here is it's not just a passive list where you check off boxes. It actively helps you build the habits. The AI in it helps you make it obvious by suggesting the best places in your routine to stack a new habit. And it uses gamification, like a cool space theme, to make it satisfying. It's basically a complete system designed to work with your brain, not against it. Next up is an app called Productive. This one is absolutely perfect for all you visual thinkers out there, people who want to see how their habits all link together.
So its main superpower is creating these really clear visual chains. You can actually see how one habit flows into the next. That helps make it attractive because you see this beautiful streak of progress you've built. Plus, it's super flexible, so you're not locked into this rigid daily schedule. It totally removes the guilt if you happen to miss a day.
And for the power users out there, the ones who love to build things from the ground up, there is, of course, Notion.
See, Notion isn't a dedicated habit tracker right out of the box, but that's actually its superpower. It gives you total, complete freedom. You can design your own perfect habit stacking system, you can integrate it with your to-do lists and your calendars, or you can just download one of the hundreds of incredible templates the community has already built.
Okay, now it's your turn. We've gone through the theory, we've looked at the tools, let's actually put this into practice. Right here, right now.
No, seriously, think about it for a second. What is one thing you already do automatically every single day? Maybe it's brushing your teeth, or making your bed, or pouring that first glorious cup of coffee. Got it? That's your anchor.
All right, now for part 2. What is one tiny 2-minute action you can link directly to that anchor? After I brush my teeth, I will floss 1 tooth. After I make my bed, I will do 2 push-ups. That's it. That's your very first habit stack. You just designed a real system for change.
And really, that's what this all boils down to. You don't need some radical overnight reinvention of your life. The seed of the person you want to become is already in you. It just needs to be cultivated with one single, tiny decision, repeated over and over. So the real question is, what tiny decision are you going to make today?